Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to make a set of mixed media tags, and I'm starting my tags by applying some heavy gesso through a stencil onto the tags themselves, and I am using the Canson mixed media paper for my tags. And here I'm using a silicone brush to apply the heavy gesso. You can use texture paste instead. I prefer the heavy gesso because it's quite thick and you can see that it holds up quite well. But finally it does not dry as thick as the texture paste would do, and I prefer that. I'm going in with that silicone brush again and smooth out some areas with the texture to get kind of a different texture on the background. The stencil I'm using here is our Mini Ink Dots stencil. Super versatile, I love to use that one. For the other tag I use the other pattern, so I have different backgrounds. This one ended up upside down on my scrap paper. Now I have a little bit of a different texture than I wanted to have, but I don't mind that. I have already prepared some tags that are already dry, so I can keep on working. I made 4 in the end, so I have a bunch of tags, not only 2. I love to use those to put them in some happy mail or to just use them as a bookmark. I have a lot of art books I like to read, or coffee table books I like to flip through regularly, and therefore I'm using these tags. And you can also use them as a focal point in your art journal. I have scribbled with a usual pencil onto the tags just to bring in some marks and some kind of a messy texture, and it also makes it easier, I feel, to keep on working on these tags. I'm now going in with my favorite background stamp. It's the number stamp from the Mix It Up #1 stamp set, or it might be the one from the Mixed Media Marks. It's a bit smaller than the other. I'm using StazOn ink, and I stamp the image several times with one layer of ink, so I get different color shades of the black ink. I do the stamping in the areas where there is not a lot texture of the stencil pattern, because there the stamp works better because it's a smooth underground. I'm also using that grid stamp from the same set. It's a perfect stamp to create some interest on the background. It's also really nice for jelly printing. I'm going in with another mixed media stamp from our Mix It Up stamp set, just for more interest. I really love that messy stamping on the background. It gives you some really nice texture later when the project is finished. I laid a scrap paper underneath my text because I want to be a bit messy in my next step. I'm using acrylic ink to bring in color, and I plan to make 2 different color combos, so I have 2 tags with the same color combo, and just to experiment. And I'm starting with the Raw Sienna Liquitex ink. It's such a beautiful color. It's just a bit weak, I feel, compared to the other Liquitex inks. So you need more drops of this one compared to another color to get the same amount of intensity, I would say. But the color shade is very lovely. On the other two tags, I'm starting with burnt sienna. It's the transparent burnt sienna, also from Liquitex. I love their inks. They are my favorite, I would say. I haven't tested the Schminke in the artist grade range. I just have them in their student grade range, but I don't like them very much. Also, their bottles are quite bad. And I also don't like the Amsterdam as much because they are quite milky often and not transparent, but maybe I just picked the wrong shades of colors. But I'm really a big fan of the Liquitex inks. As a contrast to these warm colors, I want to use some blues and turquoise. I picked, I think, the Prussian blue and also the Phthalo-Turquoise, and I'm using the Prussian blue with that raw sienna, and I will use the turquoise with the burnt sienna. I really love the color you get when these both colors are mixing. They are layering so beautiful upon each other. It's the same with these two colors. The green is super beautiful, and that's what I recommend when you are layering up transparent colors. I would pick colors that will mix well together so you don't create muddy backgrounds. While my tags are drying, I'm going to prepare my main images, and I'm using stamps from our Sketchy Leaves stamp set, and I'm stamping them with VersaFine clear ink onto the Canson Mix media paper. I will fast forward this a little bit so you don't get bored. To color in my images, I'm going to use the Liang watercolors. It's a really nice set and I love the quality of the colors, especially when you are a beginner and you want to have a watercolor set and you don't want to spend too much money. This is a good set. It's not the cheapest, but it's a super great quality, and especially for mixed media you have some metallic colors, or if you love to do hand lettering. I'm coloring in the images super loose because I'm not good in coloring in stamped images, and I also love the look of loosely colored in botanicals. I'm going to speed up this part also a little bit. I also add some of the metallic colors onto the leaves just to bring in some shimmer and interest. Now that everything is dry and I have also cut out my main images, I'm going to finish the tags, and for two of them I thought I would add some edging with black soot to the tags, so I have different looks of them. And it's also interesting to see what you prefer or what you like more. I sometimes like the inked up edges and sometimes I don't. Here you can see the difference. The inked up tag looks a lot more vintagey compared to the other one. I will now ink up one of the other tags as well. I also want to add some color splatters, and I'm using black ink on the ones with the inked edges, and I plan to use white ink on the other two. Now that everything is dry, I am going to see which main image I like on which tag, and I'm adhering them with some wet glue. I will speed up this process again because it's just gluing down some focal images. It always takes a bit until the glue is dry, and in the meantime I'm laying a acrylic stamp block on top of the image. To finish up the tags, I'm adhering a word to each of them, and I've used words that I have made with our Mix a Sentiment stamp set, and the images are embossed in white to black cardstock. I'm stamping always the whole image and then cut the words out. I will end this video by leaving you with some photos of the finished tags, and I hope you are inspired, and I hope you will have a wonderful weekend. Bye!